Hello and good evening. We've just finished watching episode 10 of Survivor 49 titled A Huge Dose of Bamboozle. But here on Super Mario Brothers podcast, we're just getting warmed up, whether you're joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, or catching the audio version wherever you get your podcasts. The fourth merge episode has landed here. Spoilers ahoy. We are going to get all into it as the loyalty has cracked and the alliances are splintering. And now here's the guy who watched the merge fracture into chaos and is still wondering, now that Joanne's out, will we ever see how this goes next? I'm your host, Dave Mader. We got a great panel here once again to break this all down. Coming to us, he's here for the competitions, the chaos, and the clutch performances. And if it's a challenge, he's already ranking it. If it's a flop, he's calling it out. It's Josh Foster.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? You know, it's we're getting close to the end, and I don't know about you, Dave, but I don't think I would. I don't think. Actually, I was a little bit bamboozled. What am I saying? I was a little bamboozled tonight.
With the result?
Yes.
Yeah, those editors, they'll get us every time. Well, not every time, but often. Okay, and he's here. He's our pro wrestling aficionado, always ready to call out the heel turns, the babyface plays, and the tribal theatrics that feel straight out of the squared circle. But beyond the showmanship, he's got a critic's eye for pacing and a strategist's mind for gameplay. If the vote looks like a setup, he's already breaking down the booking. It's Jason R. Phillips.
You gave me a new one. I was ready for the. He's got a keen eye for direction or whatever you usually say.
Yeah, I had to rework it after last week. So,
thank you for having me back for the most times I think I've been on for a season. You're right. The editing at the end of an episode will always. I'm not falling for it. And last week I said I'm not falling for it, and then all those looks they gave, justified. But it wasn't. Somebody didn't get stabbed or murdered. And until somebody gets stabbed or murdered, I'm not falling for it. Jeff Probst, Uncle Jeff, yourself.
Yes, indeed. Some misdirects here, and we're going to be breaking it all down. Spoilers, of course. I've kind of already mentioned who got voted out. So you have been warned. As we mentioned, a live stream here. We got one. We got the Hot Grim Reaper herself, Savannah, who we appreciate the patronage, Savannah. Imagine Christina pulled a Johnny Fairplay and Christina's mom is still alive. Well, that would be dark. That would be quick. But thanks for the comment. But yes, a lot to break down here. There was a lot of emotions in this episode. A lot of like who was going to be the next target. I was feeling very panicked because coming out of the last episode, guys, I had my two draft picks, Savannah and Steven. They were both safe. They were both very much on the chopping block. In this episode, they both kind of get idols played on them. In Steven's case, definitely. In Savannah's case, well, Rizzo played a fake idol to what end is kind of the question here. But a lot of advantages in play. The extra vote was used by Savannah. We had all of these different trust clusters moving around. And again, it's like the middle. It's the swing votes who are targeted here. Last time it was Alex, and now this week we lose Jawan and Sage being sort of this other duo that was sort of flipping between the two other groups, if you will. Jason, what's your take on this episode?
Well, I did have a good time watching it. It was more entertaining than the last couple have been, in my opinion, because stuff kept happening. The scramble at the end of the episode specifically, I like it when there's a lot of potential outcomes, and I don't like it when it's pretty cut and dry on who they're going to vote for, and then clearly the producers jam in an extra storyline. This felt like the whole episode had a very coherent storyline beginning to end. The games were good, but the Jawan and Sage alliance is another one of those kind of came out of nowhere a couple episodes ago, and I feel like we need to get more of the story, yet the episodes need to be shorter. So this is another episode where it felt like we didn't need the whole, and I'm sure you're going to play the clip of the three boys on a bench.
Oh, I didn't have time. I would have.
I know you would have. And Jeff, I'm surprised you didn't clip, unless you did. Jeff mentioning the food because he was extra horny tonight when
he was. I only had time to pull the exit interview from Jawan and the next time. So apologies to everyone. We were playing trivia at the beginning, and then we had to catch up through the fast forwarding through commercials, and by the time the episode ended, we were well past 9:30. So I just had just at the moment there to pull those clips. But they were good ones. There was some interesting moments in the episode. This final 8, I think, has been pretty good. And this cast, like, Foster, I want to get your thoughts on how you thought the episode went. But I feel like most of these players are contenders to win. Some more than others.
Yeah, like it's definitely, I feel, one of those seasons you're at the point where there's more than, again, it's not everyone. But there's a few of them that can definitely win, and it's not that 1 or 2 or 3 stand out necessarily, because it's not like there's 2 or 3 where they have the same kind of resume up to this point. I did find it, because I know that you had mentioned this a few times, the last couple episodes or a few episodes, Dave, how there was, I guess Jeff Probst had said, like, during this season, at some point he would tell the cast members that a man and a woman will go to Survivor 50, and this episode I thought was the first time that it looked prominent, like, or relevant, that like they actually knew that. And I think it was 2 instances where I felt that was really apparent, where Sage had said, get Christina to play her idol, get Rizzo to play the idol, and get Savannah out kind of in one go, right? And she's like, well, that'll boost my resume, and but again, when you're going for 3 kind of things at once, rather than just a simple blindside, I feel is a little bit more, typically that's asking for a lot. Unless they're trying to make a splash for a future episode or season. But then when Rizzo played a fake idol, because we know he has a real idol, right? So it's almost like it's what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's kind of showing out, if you will, right? He's kind of just being a little
stirring the pot.
Animated. Yeah, like he's being a little more animated, a little more I don't know. You could just, again, we've talked about the editing, we've talked about how they, will portray it to, the viewers and stuff, but again, I just felt there was a lot more energy with some of these cast members this episode, as it relates to making an impact that, hey, I should be on the next season, right? Because again, I don't think they've ever,
right?
Yeah, like obviously for tribal, but again, though, like you're not going to say, oh, I hope I'm on 50. Right, you can't, like the way that it works.
You can't just play for that. You can't just play for a chance. You're here now, right?
I understand what you're saying, Foster. Like you can't do a talking head and be like, I'm acting extra, so I can get onto that next season. But a lot of these people, they're dialed up a little bit, which I enjoy. I think it's great. I think Sage specifically and Rizzo are both like, if I just act like an insane person, but keep it pretty dialed down, then maybe I'll get to move on. I also think that Sophie is going to win this whole season because she's a challenge beast.
Well, hold that thought, because we got the man, the myth, the legend with us, who is muted and now unmuted. Thank you. He's a pop culture aficionado with Funko stacked to the ceiling and hot takes for Tribal. While she's all about structure, whether it's Lego builds or later alliances, if the edit's misleading, he's dissecting it. If the vote's messy, but the logic's clean, she's already mapping the next move. Together, they're a dynamic duo of analysis and insight. It's Jaemeel and Becky Robinson.
It's only Jaemeel. Becky is sick.
Well, I wrote the intro for both of you, so you get...
Well done. Well done.
Well
done. You know what, Dave's trying to
read that. Yeah. You read that.
You know what?
Copy
Dave's trying to work for 50 right now.
That's what I was just gonna say. You read that copy like he's trying to get into season 50.
All right, Jaemeel, we gotta talk about this episode now. I have a feeling I said a controversial statement, and you kind of jumped in shortly after, where I said I feel like now that we've gone from final 8 now to final 7, I feel like all 7 of these castaways are contenders to varying degrees. I know that you would probably disagree, so let's talk about that. And what's your reaction to tonight's episode?
So, okay, let's talk about Christina for a brief second, a hot second, who has this outburst, right? And I'm like, she's definitely losing this challenge. She's still going to be in this game because she's irrelevant, but she's definitely losing this challenge immediately. And so said, so done, right? I don't I understand being frustrated and being kind of at your wit's end, but it just kind of felt like a tantrum that was pretty much unnecessary. And we all had to kind of sit through it, right? So that's one thing. Not everyone is a contender.
Well,
Okay.
I know you've been very clear on your thoughts about Christina. Of the other 6 who are now left,
I don't think Sophie's gonna win.
You don't think Sophie?
Sophie's not gonna win.
I'd say Sophie's top 3 for me. I think that based on how it's stacked up right now. What? Okay, so who would you put top 3? Let's have this discussion. Let's have a healthy, friendly.
What's the most
discussion.
competitive final 3? I guess for you,
Rizzo.
Okay.
Right. Savannah / Sage and Steven.
I would put Sophie over Steven. That's 4 first. That's 4 first of all, Jaemeel. Come on.
What has Sophie done strategically, right, to run this game?
Well, she has two individual immunities. I know that's not what you're asking, but I think that also that she's like this vote, her choosing to side with the Savannah Rizzo side of this vote, I think was significant in terms of
was that her like actually doing it or just providing information?
Both. She provided information, key information, because they would have just all voted for Steven tonight, right? Originally, that was like that side's plan, and it wasn't until Sophie says, "No, they're flipping. This is coming around. They're trying to flush your idols, all this, and etc." That I think that Sophie does a lot in this episode to kind of establish she's kind of working all these angles. I've been more impressed with Sophie in this post-merge part of the game in particular.
Sophie got a little hurt in her fifis because she wasn't included in that one vote, and now she's taking it out on the other side of the tribe. She is not moved up in the ranks of that 3, right, in terms of Soph, Rizzo, and Savannah, right? So she's now at the bottom of another group, right? And I don't think she's gonna get any type of like consideration from Steven or the remnants of Sage and anyone else, right? Or Christina. So I don't know. She picked a side. Great. She picked to be the bottom of the other side, right? And her thought process is, well, Savannah is a meat shield, but not really, because now she is the object of, of destruction, the object that they want to focus a lot of hatred and consideration their way. So all she's done is kind of just stepped in the middle, right, between the 2 sides and say, I'll take the next bullet for the team behind me, right? I don't think this is a winning, a winning momentum situation that she put herself in.
Well, it really comes down to whether if she gets to the end, whether the jury's going to respect her game moves, or they're going to.
Is she going to get to the end?
If she does, that's what we're just trying to understand, right? Like if she's in the final 3,
final 4, I could say final 4 for sure. I feel like based on who's left. Jason's got something to say.
The only reason I said it is because since the merge, that I know we don't talk about winners at it. And I know that's kind of like it's kind of a ethereal concept for Survivor, but I haven't really seen somebody be like, who is this person? And I've talked about that concept for me before, where it's like, I don't know. She's been focused on pretty heavily for the last 4 or 5 episodes. And typically when that happens, they're setting it up to give this like underdog a rise to the top. Now they know what happens. The producers know what happens on the show. They're the ones editing and they're the ones creating the story. But I've watched enough Survivor now to know that when somebody starts doing this kind of move around this time, they're setting themselves up for success towards the end. And Sophie is the prime example of the show telling us that somebody's going to do well, in my opinion, based off of some very ethereal concepts. Now, I do agree with Jaemeel, and this is only based off the fact that she won individual immunity tonight. So she has to kind of keep going, right? She has to win. Her and Savannah have to keep trading wins for my theory to come correct. But I just have like this weird feeling about her. And everybody, like, even Steven, like, I don't even, this is the problem with the limited time that they're showing us in the shorter seasons. I don't see Steven as really being that much on the bottom, except for when they just kind of tell us that through talking heads. So I still feel like he has a fighting chance. And also people just do whatever they want on the next episode anyway.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's a crapshoot, really.
I just feel like once Steven is gone and you have that trio there, why are they keeping Sophie versus, like, they're gonna be like, well, we're gonna get rid of Christina next because we're so worried that she might do something. Like, they're gonna get rid of Sophie, right?
Or Sage is maybe a potential target.
The next episode will be about Sage having either revenge or just going
Let's say
home.
they get rid of Sage and Steven. Who's the next one out?
Maybe Soph, maybe Sophie.
No, they're
maybe...
keeping Soph.
Yeah, so I feel like Soph is positioned to be final three.
Yeah,
she's playing that, like, she's not out in the open, but she is calling shots.
Mm-hmm.
I do see what you're saying. Like it's the Rizzo, Soph, and
Savannah
sort of running shop with Sophie.
Let me just say,
jumping to the other side.
The whole point of playing the middle is that you're able to go from side to side. Now, what she did in this specific instance is she's closed off a side for herself, right? Playing the middle means you get rid of a player from the other side, so there's an imbalance, and you can fill that gap, right? And then you can kind of teeter along. But, like, what I feel is she put herself in a position where one side is just way too strong, and the other side has been hurt too much that I don't think that she's able to balance herself in that situation, right? So ultimately, she has to either win out, which, rarely happens. It can happen, right? But when we're talking about probability of who's going to win, we don't really take that into account. As Rizzo said so aptly, can't win them all, right?
Right. Yeah,
so
that's a good call.
Right. Rizzo is, I have to, give, his flowers, is playing a game that, and Savannah too, are right now, it seems like they're playing with the other people in the game. And Soph, I will give her flowers to as well. She's the only one who's keeping her mouth shut about something, because ultimately we saw in this episode and a previous episode where people, get a little squirmy and start revealing secrets to Joanne and other people, and the leak just gets to everyone, and then eventually it leads to them being blindsided with their foolproof plan just crumbling in their hands. So
nobody can keep their mouth shut on this team, because the prime example of that is them showing their whole hand when Jeff was like, I'll trade 3 people for this rice. And they were like, no. And then he's like, 2 people for half the rice. And then Savannah's like, are we able to negotiate? And then Jawan just goes, a quarter bag.
Quarter cup.
Like, my guy.
They're like, what? That's not how negotiations work, Jawan.
Yeah. And he's like, no. I thought he was going to stab the bag and be like, you don't get it anyway.
That would have been hilarious.
It's like 3 people now. It's running out of 6.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's done that before. I remember seeing him
has.
doing that. Yeah, like he's like, you got to decide. But I've noticed too with the rice over the last few seasons, it's becoming less and less of a serious option for them. And I also noticed for this one, again, I don't know in terms of the average number of people left when he brings it up, but like typically I've seen like 4 people, right? I don't know if it was 8 or 9 or whatever it was, but like there was only 8 of them. So we asked for 3, right? And usually I don't know. So that was I've never seen 3. I usually see 4. So again, I don't know typically when the total number on average is, but I mean, again, they're trying to see like, okay, can we get them to really consider it? Like how are we gonna, because they want a kind of moral, kind of dilemma in the moment kind of thing, right? But again, I also feel like it's also determined based on how they as a cast are doing, nourishment wise and stuff, right? But
I have no
it would have been
sympathy.
really, really funny that they stabbed it.
I am so tired of I'm so hungry. First of all, you have unlimited coconuts. You have fishing gear. At least props to Juwan, who at least tried to get some food.
Adorable
Okay,
tiny fish.
Hold off on it. He gets one, and he's like, "Well, I'm done. I
Well,
just
I'm
got
done.
one."
That's what I said too. Like, keep going, man.
yeah, like he can keep
You know how to
going.
do it now.
Yeah, but at least they tried to do something about it. And depending on when you win rewards, you're eating like burgers and pizza and all the stuff every other day or every 2 days. Yeah, so yeah, I get you're hungry, but it's just I mad respect for the group tonight. All to say we're all competing in this. I thought for sure Christina was not going to compete in that individual immunity because she's always so out of these challenges. But she actually didn't she get to the puzzle or
she got to the puzzle.
She got to one of the stages first. She was in the lead actually for one part of this challenge tonight, and she was in it to the end. And I think it was Rizzo in particular. It was like, I got a 1 in 8 chance at $1 million. In 7 days, I can
eat.
In 7 days, I can eat. In 7 days, I won't have another chance at 1 in 8 for $1 million. And I was like, very well said, very well positioned, and thought through. And we saw that he was struggling with the hunger. It's not like he's just like, this is no big deal. He had a rough one. They show that in the episode as well. So I'm liking this cast, as much as we can debate which of these players I think are sort of have the most outside chance. I agree. Christina is probably at the top of she has the hardest one, but I think they think of her as a bit of a threat if she can get to the end and make a speech and maybe win over some hearts. I get it's a long shot. And I think Soph is the other one.
If Christina wins this season, I'll eat my hat.
Okay, well, you said it here, everyone. Yeah. But I think Soph, I think she needs a big move. I think she needs to play her knowledge as power. I think you're right that she's been able to actually keep that a secret, and if she can effectively keep that a secret and then use it at the right time, if she can put a big move on her resume, I think she has a case.
She's the one who gets rid of Rizzo.
Right, or she's the one who turns on Rizzo or Savannah or something like that.
But just imagine, Rizzo is going to be going home, or he's like, all the votes are on Rizzo, right, to flush, or they split it, and then he's like, I got my idol, he's gonna play it, and then she's like, hold on a second, and takes it away from him, and then he's like, and if he gets voted out, he'll give her his flowers, and she'll go on to the final 4.
Yeah, I can see a path for them. It's not just there are complete goats here by any means, and Christine probably the biggest example. But I this episode did a lot for me to say, okay, maybe I still think it's weak for her. I think she's been played too timid. I've had my critiques of Christina, and it depends on and in terms of your analysis of her dealing with her emotions. I agree it was a bit of a tantrum. It was also very real and kind of human, and I felt for her in the moment too. She was talking about her mom, but then it was kind of also.
I felt more for her because Jeff turned it into an opportunity to be like, see, that's the kind of stuff you have to get over when you play Survivor.
You came out here for a transformation, didn't you? It's just
a little condescending.
Yeah.
He was actually kind of on one this whole episode. He was a little doing very Jeffy kind of things all night.
Jeff, can I address the class? And then when Rizzo goes up there, he's like, why not? Of course. Just to play a fake idol. Yeah.
I have a question about that. Did we know that was fake? Because I don't remember how that was introduced as fake.
I don't know why.
It wasn't
Like,
even mentioned.
He built
has
one.
he has a real idol.
it
Yeah.
looked very much like the one Christina played,
Oh.
didn't it? Like it was.
Well,
Except it was red.
he knows what it looks like because he has a real one. So he made one that looks like it.
He only
Okay,
played
I
it
didn't put that
after Christina
together.
played hers,
Yeah,
right?
but he did it for showmanship.
Again, showmanship, because I feel like this was the relative to when Jeff told them, right? Again, there was just a little bit of extra.
There might be
Yeah.
one strategic advantage to doing what he did, which was to see the reaction of the group. Who's the most pissed off he plays his idol, right?
That's why, because the idea was that he didn't play a real idol. So then when Savannah was asking Juwan, questions, and he's like, yeah, it was me. Great. They were able to they knew they had enough votes, right? They knew where the idol was going to be played at. So all of it was just, smoke and mirrors.
It was. I was impressed here with, in particular with Savannah. I guess it was also Rizzo, where they're like, and Savannah's just like, "Did you do this to me, Juwan? Were you the one?" And then first he's like, no. And then he was just like, yeah, it was me. And then they flip the vote. And then they're like, and he was like, was it you? And they're like, yes, it was us.
Yes, it was me.
And I was like, that was good. Like that was a fun moment.
That was a very good Survivor moment. I agree.
So like,
Okay, I have one more question about the Rizzo thing. So, do you think that the people on his team knew that he was going to do this fake idol moment? So now they don't know he has an idol effectively.
No, they know he is an idol.
I think Savannah knew he was going to do that.
Okay. Maybe just the three knew he was going to pull that,
and maybe
everybody
Soph knew. I don't know if Sophie knew per se, but it's possible she did. Because they did need her vote, and they had the extra vote, which I guess Juwan also didn't know about, right? So that was the other part of this whole like turnaround here. But it would have been Savannah. I don't know. Like it was fun to watch. It was an interesting tribal. I thought. Although one of the question I do have about it, we talked about it last week about the optics of. I was like, if Juwan or Christina are next on this jury, like you got Nate, you got MC. You have Alex, and now you got Juwan as the first four members of the jury, right? Like, is this not concerning, or just a coincidence?
Christina should go. Not me. No.
Right. Like, well, I'd be interested to see if Christina has any reaction to that, like in the next episode. Just kind of look,
I'll update next week to see if anyone from Black Twitter says anything.
Okay. I was gonna say, Jaemeel has to. Never mind.
Jaemeel has to
check with these people.
Yeah.
But you did say Black Twitter, but I
what do you mean his people? What do you mean his people?
Yeah. Anyway, but moving on. So let's talk about this episode, just kind of from the beginning to end of it all. Coming off of the Alex vote, and I guess like the main ramification there being that Steven and Christina were left out of the last vote. They're feeling vulnerable. And there was a lot of stuff here with Christina, like, it's going to be me next. Like, that's kind of the beginning of her emotional sort of outburst and her feeling vulnerable and mad and angry. And then this idea that she might play the idol on Steven. She's like, I'll play it on you if I need to. And that's ultimately what does happen in the episode. She plays it, even though Steven gets no votes in this tribal. So the idol gets flushed unnecessarily. It's looking not great.
That was such a proof she didn't know anything that was going on move.
Yeah.
Because the Steven vote thing was like way earlier in the whole conversation. Way earlier in the day, they were kind of throwing his name out. And then so much stuff happened. And then they got to like where we got to essentially, which was so far removed. They were like, Steven doesn't matter because we just get rid of him later. And there's so much more conversation. So
yeah,
I feel genuinely bad for her that she wasted it. It's one thing if you waste it on yourself, but when you think that you know what's going to happen and you waste it on your friend,
ally.
Oof, yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, it's not great. Like in terms of like making a case for Christina to win the game, like it only diminished that, right? Like other than she had the idol, I guess, in the first place, but. Yeah, that was rough there. And then so there was different. We saw Sage in particular was kind of she reveals to Jawan about Christina having the idol because Steven told her, and Sage has long wanted to get Savannah out. They go right back to the original Uli together. That was very, this continues here, like the Sage versus Savannah. So where do you guys stand on this whole feud? I'm Team Savannah now. I'm out on Sage. No, everyone's.
I'm Team Sage.
Yeah, I'm with
Savannah's
I'm with Jaemeel shaking head and Jason. Yeah, I'm Team Sage still.
All right, I'll be on an island.
She's a wolf,
and
baby.
that's not because she's my
baby.
lock for next season.
Mm-hmm.
If Savannah does some truly heinous villain stuff, she's like a C tier villain. She's like all we have, closest thing we have to a villain. If she does some truly heinous stuff, her stock might rise with me because I want to see.
You want to see it, like be a heel, be a true heel.
I want to see her full heel, but right now she's just kind of I was saying this to my wife tonight. She's being really weird tonight. She's being really obtuse, and she thought she was getting away with it. Like she was like, it's like when I'm in the newsroom and I'm trying to find out information about a story, and I'm trying to find out the real facts. I'm looking at people's body language. I'm trying to figure out if they're lying. I'm like, no, you're getting in people's faces and you're asking them way too many questions. And leading questions, quite frankly.
The conversation with Christina was interesting.
Christina had to remove.
She's like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I have to get away. And I was just like, okay, like that's an interesting reaction.
And even Savannah's stare is like, it looks like it's staring into your soul. Like,
it's
don't
very
you
intense.
Lie to me. I know you. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa.
Yeah, you would lie to me.
It's
like, is she a mom? Because if she has kids, no,
she can't.
Good luck,
right?
kids.
Remember she revealed whatever how many episodes ago she said she can't have kids, like biological kids.
Okay, well, if she ever adopts kids, good luck because she'll know you're lying. She's gonna get to the heart of and whoever her husband is, for that matter.
Get this close to them.
Yeah. Are you?
Did you skip school today?
I know you're lying. It's like.
No. All right. In terms of I guess, is there anything else in the early, before the reward challenge that was worth touching on in the episode? I'm not recalling anything else specific, but if not, we can move on to the reward challenge of itself.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think those were the key beats that I remember.
Sage talking to Jawan about. They just stretched it out over the course.
Right. And we saw Jawan trying to, he goes up to Steven because Steven told Sage this and he promised Sage he wouldn't tell Steven that she told him.
Well, I want to make a point too about Jawan is that we've seen this so much throughout the season where he's kind of focused on something and then something so small spooks him to think something, to want to do something else. And it completely throws off his focus to, you know what I mean? And this happened with the Rizzo when it was supposed to be him getting out, when it was he was the very clear, numbers wise odd man out, and then Savannah came over. It just everything. There was a lot of times where Jawan, he lost his focus because someone would tell him something else, and he would almost take it personally. This time it was Steven didn't tell him. And also to the way he asked or talked to Steven, I don't know how Steven could not understand and tell that he knew that he was lying to him, because it was I'm kind of worried about Christina, and if she has an idol, it's
right.
They're not probably showing the whole conversation because I wouldn't go in and just single out one person. Do you think Christina might have an idol, specifically Christina? Nobody else. I feel like she's hiding something. I don't know. It's just the way the air's flowing this morning.
Yeah, it was just kind of it was a way for Jawan to test. I know the truth, so this is what Steven lying to me looks like. I guess is what he wanted to get from that conversation. But
I'm surprised you didn't blow it. I'm surprised
he didn't either. I'm surprised we didn't immediately cut to Steven saying, I know that Sage must have told him, because this conversation.
The way he was asking me was way too
on the nose, if you will. Anyway,
but Steven's response was also funny. He was like, I don't know, I'll ask her again. I don't know.
I'll check for you. I'll check for you, Jawan.
I'll check in.
Yeah. Hey, Christine, do you got an idol? Because Jawan wants to know. Okay. Anyway. considering they both came from the original Yellow Tribe, that why he would. I guess they have this idea. What was it called? The Bottom Dollar Alliance or the Bottoms Up or?
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't
I
know
know
why
it
guess
was
it's
in
simple,
control,
but-
but it was wrong.
All right. I want to talk about the reward challenge. Not just Christina's breakdown, but also like just they come in on this boat, and Jeff, for some reason tonight, was just like, "That's a way to come to a challenge. How about that?"
He loves the boats. It's like
He
the
didn't
pilot,
say
you know what
"come
I mean?
on in," and he made me look like a fool in front of my wife because I always say, "Come on in."
Come
And then
on
he said,
in. It used to
"Here
be
come
come
the
on
boats."
in,
Like,
guys, until he made it accessible to everyone. And then he's like, it used to be like sometimes he says bring in the boats, but this was just bring in the boat. And then the boat comes in, and he's like, "Isn't that a way to come to a challenge?" And they're all like, "Whatever." Like
That's what I'm saying. Jeff was
yeah.
on one tonight, being
He
real
was
weird.
he had some edibles, I think, before the
Yeah.
the challenge. Then he's like, he does his like, "How's it going, everyone?" And then he gets to Christina. And Christina is just trying not to yell or cry or both or all these things. And he's like, "What's going on, Christina? Tell me what's happening in this moment." I'm just like, sometimes you should just leave people be.
It's going to be Jeff probes lovers and other strangers. Christina, how are you doing today?
I wonder if anyone's
An
ever.
angel
I wonder if
philosophy.
everyone's. I wonder if everyone's ever said to Jeff, like, Jeff, don't fucking ask me, like, don't talk to me, like, just don't
Yeah,
be
just
very.
like, Jeff, don't start.
not
Don't
now.
start.
Not
Jeff.
today.
Don't start with me today.
Not today, Jeff. Not today.
But that's why
you looked at, and then like so that part's edited out, and then Jeff's like, "Oh no, you're not feeling well. Oh, we got to get the bags over."
I have to
But we
absorb
had-
your life
It
force a
becomes
little
one
bit.
of those YouTube videos where it's like, here, hold this broom.
Because I remember
Here, have a bite of this.
with Johnny Fairplay. He came up at the beginning of the show here from the Hot Grim Reaper's question, and Johnny Fairplay was famous for like not giving Jeff what he wanted when Jeff wanted to give, especially a tribal. He's like,
Mhm.
"Johnny, tell me about what's going on," and Johnny's like, "I don't know." Whatever. Like, it's just like, and you're on a TV show from Jeff Pro, like Jeff, like Christina has to answer. I think Christina knows she has to give Jeff what he wants. That's part of like the whole audition conditioning, I think, that they all go through. And it's like, "What's happening, Christina?" She's like, "I don't want to have like one of these meltdown moments. It's gonna be like in the top 10 Survivor list of this or whatever," but she might have made it.
She might have made it.
Yeah.
At
Is
least
it a
top
bigger
20.
Is it a bigger meltdown than what's her name who wasn't able to go to Applebee's?
Oh, that's a good call. She's definitely top 10. She might be top
pissed.
5.
I'm pissed. Oh yeah. I didn't get my Applebee's. Hey, like that's how it goes sometimes.
Sounds like a you problem, honestly.
Yeah. In terms of the challenge, Foster, tonight, the reward challenge specifically, they had the schoolyard pick, which they didn't show us, and
Yeah, now that you pointed that out, I'm gonna like every time I'm gonna look at it and like you have an hour and a half. You can't, like it again, like it. What 5 minutes?
Less than that.
less,
One
less,
minute.
like
if you're not showing it. Oh yeah. Sorry, I mean like for them 5 minutes, not 5 minutes for us to
yeah.
show it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like like if you're not showing it, then it's like you're not. It's just another opportunity to be transparent. And again, like it's just it's more of like it's more relative to the audience because it's like, yeah, I've been there in terms of like being like having a schoolyard pick, right? So you're like, oh, I can, that I remember that kind of thing. It's almost like a nostalgia kind of moment, right? That you would have, right?
Yeah.
But from a game perspective, though, it would be interesting to see like the reactions and stuff, right?
Well, I'm more curious about who they pick first sometimes than who they pick last, and who they feel like.
Yeah,
they want.
again, and also too, like it would be different throughout the season depending on what the actual challenge is, right? Because he may not explain it, but you can get a very good idea of what you're going to be doing for this, for the schoolyard pick challenge, right? So again, like I feel like that would be really like you said last week. I'm gonna be thinking about that a lot more when he says that, because it's like that would be very like I don't want to hear about how they got to cover Sage and Jawan's conversation because Sage, is having theoretical gas.
Right.
Like I don't I don't need to know. That,
She's
you know what
just
I mean? There doesn't-
gas. Like
there's no
we can't
relative-
let people know we're gaming over here. We got to tell them we're talking about
Yeah,
flatulence.
it's not relative at all, right? Like again, like everyone games, everyone talks, right? And the way I've always looked at Survivor when it comes to people talking is that when you're there, because they spend so much time together, you know, there is a lot of overlap with general conversations and game conversations, right? So, I mean, yeah, like you'll notice people spending a lot of time with each other, but really, like how indicative it as, you know what I mean? Like unless you're going off together all the time, right? Anyways, but with going back to the
Savannah
challenge,
didn't
though,
believe that they were game talking because Juwan wasn't like, so what do you want to do? No, no plans. Sorry.
yeah, that's okay.
It's a
But,
good point. It's a good point. You know, I wish they showed it because seeing who gets picked. So here's what I was just thinking while you guys were kind of talking through it. Maybe they don't bother showing it because it isn't indicative of anything. Maybe that's why they don't show it, because I was thinking about it and like everybody's so nice to each other on a surface level that Christina's not going to get picked last. Somebody's going to be nice and pick her second or third.
maybe
You know what I mean, though? Like, I don't think it's
Juwan
going to
picked her
be.
last. She got picked last.
Yeah, so and they tell us like who the captains are, but they don't tell us even who had the first pick between the captains.
Christina got picked last. That means he probably had the second pick.
Probably, but maybe he wanted to be nice.
You know what we should do, guys? We should have our own little, not 5 minutes, but like we should have our own little minute or two and break it down. Like, okay, these are the captains.
We could, if we know Christina got picked last, we can math it backwards. There's only 8 people.
In this example for sure. Yeah, well,
let's play a game. Let's play who got picked and who did not get picked. Right. So the captains were Jawan and
Soph.
And Soph was was it Soph? No. Soph
I know that. Yeah, I know that the two Sophies ended up on the same team.
Yeah, but okay. So it was Soph and Jawan. Okay, so Soph was the first pick. She probably picked.
She had Steven on her team, right?
Was it Steven?
Steven was on that side. So it was Steven, the two Sophs, and
Sage.
And Sage. That was like that. That's the team that ultimately won.
So she probably picked Steven, and then Juwan would have picked Rizzo, and then Soph probably would have picked Sophie.
I think Juwan would have picked Savannah over Rizzo
because of balance.
You think so? I think he would have taken Rizzo over Savannah.
If you were in this challenge and you see how many this is balance beams and Rizzo with his string bean limbs there and you saw how much he struggled on those.
Yeah, but I think that he's looking more at the end where they were throwing the ball up into the net, right? Because Rizzo has been very dominant with those relative type of challenges throughout the season, right? So, again, because then if you go that route, then, because I'm not looking at the balance beam because that's a very small aspect in my opinion, right? When the end game is more conducive to actual skill, right? Anyways, but my theory is that it was, like I said, it was probably Steven, then Rizzo, then Sophie, because she's been doing so well in challenges. And then Jawan would have picked Savannah, and then Sage,
Soph.
and then Christina.
Yeah, that's probably
it.
That's probably what. And maybe they think that's not interesting. I actually think like how.
But again, it's not about that though. I think once again, it's about us being able to connect. Like we've had those experiences, and I'm not saying they would have reactions. I'm just saying. It's a much better thing to watch than something very it's nice to it's cool to see Jawan go fishing, but that was completely irrelevant. If he had caught some fish for a cook, then that would be it. You know what I mean? But again, that's
I would like to ask Jaemeel what he thinks.
Look, okay. I think it was important to see Jawan capture a fish because it was his exiting episode. 2, right? I didn't really need to see the schoolyard pick because when I saw the teams, I'm like, well, I know the ending to this challenge because there's no way that team was losing to one that had Christina on it, who's gonna be in the Sari Fields role, which is dig deep. You made it across the beam. Yay!
I
Also
think
condescended to Christina in that moment.
I think Christina makes Sari look like a challenge beast. Like, quite
That's
frankly.
saying a lot.
I know.
That is saying a whole hell of a lot.
I was waiting for them to all stand up and clap as she crossed the beam.
Oh, just like hey, like considering like how bad her upper body strength is, like the fact that she pulled herself over that pole after she nearly fell off, and it was kind of a nice moment for her. But
yeah, that'll be in our highlight reel.
The photos and the slow motion and everything they had of her though was the most unflattering. When she like got up and they show her like flop over, it's just like cut that stuff.
We were laughing. We were watching it. We're like, oh my god, this is a painful
grimacing. Yeah, we don't need that. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help her. We don't need to see it.
Yeah, but they want her to be like the spiritual successor to Sari, I think, or in that archetype.
Play again?
Well, probably not. I
Christina and Nate are my locks for this week.
Yeah. Jaemeel, I know you have to duck out early tonight.
I'm sorry, folks.
Did you want to give us your predictions for season 50 now?
Okay. It is Sage and Rizzo.
Sage and Rizzo. So you're off Steven.
As of this week, yes.
And would you mind asking Becky who she would like?
Becky, what'd you say?
I don't know what I would do. I'm gonna stick with
voice. Laryngitis.
She had.
You have a speak and spell. Do you have a?
She had Rizzo and Savannah last week. She's
gonna stick with it. She's gonna roll it back.
Okay, she's gonna keep the Rizzo and Savannah.
laryngitis.
I'm also going Rizzo and Savannah.
Laryngitis.
I think that I want to see Savannah grill people with those intense eyes on next season. So that's what I'm also going. Although I could easily see Sage being on next season.
Savannah's perfect for the jury. She's perfect for the jury, who's the one who stands up and does like the very impassioned / bitter type of questioning. Savannah, why are you there? You know that you only, or Sage, why are you there versus me, the better player? You know that type.
No,
of
what she would first do is to tell everyone that she is a reporter because that's important, and then she would start to talk about her interviewing, and then start interviewing.
The question is more of a statement about her herself.
Yeah, she's talking about herself.
She'd be like, I'm used to this. I have experience. I can ask the great questions. So, and then she's like going to raise her hand because muscle memory, but then there's nothing there. But
yeah,
but she turns to the camera. She's like,
"We're back,
and we're back, and we're like, I think she'd be good for like interviewing castaways, like afterwards and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I could see her being in that role." Kind of like what Parvati was doing for a bit there, but we'll see. All right, Jaemeel, you're welcome to stay for as long as you'd like, but if you need to go,
unfortunately, I have to duck out. Yes, there's some stuff I got to do.
How was Wicked, by the way?
Wicked. I missed 2 Wicked and Wicked with the 3 as the E, the ones in between. So I saw 1 and 4. Wicked 1 and then 4 Good, which is obviously the 4th Wicked. So
I'm so confused. What?
You're a little lost in the metaphor there, pal.
So like there's Wicked, and then there's Wicked 2, and then there's Wicked 3, but you put the 3 as the E, so it's WIKE 3D, right? And then there's Wicked 4 Good, right? The 4th one.
So you didn't see 2 and 3. So I want to. I'm caught up.
Anyways,
I got there.
Anyways,
was it for bad or for good?
What was it for good or was it for bad?
Mm-hmm.
It is a sequel to Wicked. And
Thanks for clarifying, because my head was still spinning.
there's some really good musical numbers, and not much choreography, and it is a conclusion to the first one.
Yeah,
I
my
think it
wife
was-
came home from it and went,
yeah,
Does
You can kinda-
James Franco reprise his role?
yeah. And everyone, this weekend enjoy Zootopia 2. Take care.
All right, see you later. All right. Well, that was a quite the segue. Don't hit end stream just to close the
Yeah,
window.
I did that last time. Sorry, folks.
Yes, thank you.
I'm with him.
uh,
I've got Sage and Rizzo. Is that what he said, or did you say Savannah and Rizzo? I got Sage and Rizzo as
No,
my.
he said-
You're
Sage
already
and
locked
Rizzo.
in, so I didn't even. But yes, you have Rizzo and Savannah as your locks.
Yeah, I'm not getting at this point. I don't think I'm getting any points for Jake, but I'm still going to ride it high.
You don't know. Jake
Because-
might show up for 50.
I know. I mean, I honestly, like, based on who the rest of the cast, I feel like he is still the best option.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like because once again, I feel like my big thing is, if we're like comparing the rest of the cast, he's very genuine. He is a fun watch, and he's just more down to earth, right? Like, I feel like, again, like, especially with the way that Rizzo is playing, like, this is not how he always is. Like, he's
I still
definitely
have my
playing it up.
tinfoil hat on and think the snake was a conspiracy, but I still don't. I kind of talked to myself out of him coming back because of
Yeah, I
all the
don't
stuff
know.
I've been
Again,
saying.
like this, it's. I mean, it's interesting because it's if we're doing a talk conspiracy, right? Like, you know, it is, you know, like it's better to go that way, to go see the birth of your child, than just say, like, I can't be here, I got to go see the birth. You know what I mean? Like, anyways,
There's a
but
story coming into season 50 with that.
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, right? So, and once again, like, this whole thing was for his father too, right? So, I mean, you know, but again, though, like, I'm fine with, you know, like, I was a little bit tonight thinking, like, oh, like Sophie based on challenges would be really good, because I've said it since the merge, like, she's still, in my opinion, not a dark horse still, but like, she was a dark horse coming out of the merge, the way they kind of, you know, all of a sudden.
Well,
brought
she was barely in any of the episodes leading up to that,
Yeah.
right?
No, that's what
And
I'm saying.
the
Like,
thing is, too, is we moved off it pretty quick because Jaemeel kind of was like, no. But I wanted to say, I don't see her coming back for another season. I see her just doing really well in this particular season.
oh, Sophie.
Yeah, Sophie. I don't see her playing well enough or doing anything drastic enough to come back for season 50 specifically. But I do think that there's something going on with her edit. And I know that's, like I said,
that's fair, right?
fan
Because again, like,
theory
it's
craft thing.
It could just be
Or-
she's a finalist at it. Like, it could be something like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean she's necessarily going to win, but
yeah. But so the other thing, just speaking on 50 for a moment here, because we were talking earlier about the, you know, the food and the not being able, you know, me being hungry and all that, right? And I thought to myself, I'm like, next season 50 is going to be very interesting. When, yes, they're a lot older, but you're going to have those tens and like singles, 10s and 20 cast members, or whatever the range is.
like
from
the
back then.
like the old school vets, like
The
Ozzy
OG.
and them,
Who
right?
don't
And
know
they're
how to
gonna be
play
like-
the new game.
Yeah, and they're going to be like, it's day 8. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
this is light work, right? And also too, because when, like, there's obviously the physical aspect, right? But with these newer 40 seasons, you know, except for, I can't remember his name who hit his head, but it's all new players.
Bruce?
Like, there's no returners, right? And so they don't have that mental fortitude of being in a previous season that a lot of the older survivors had when they had those, you know, like, heroes, villains, and stuff, right?
There, a lot of the returning players for 50 who are legends have played multiple times, and they've played multiple times in seasons that are like 10 days longer.
Yeah, so that's
If
what
they
I'm
made it
saying.
that
Like, it's
far,
gonna be
obviously,
be
but,
really
yeah.
interesting, because, and also too, like, they're also gonna be, again, there's gonna be, I think, I feel like it's not like, you know, when you go into this season and you see the difference between a younger cast member in the 30s and 20s versus someone who's in their 40s and 50s, right? Like Nate, or, you know, versus, you know, let's say Rizzo, for instance, right? Like, it's going to be a much more stronger contrast between those OG. We'll call them OG players, and we'll call the other ones new era players, if you will. I don't really know when you define when maybe let's just say for
well, the new era
right,
officially, as far as Survivor's concerned, starts in 41, basically. Like 40 is the end of the old
is
era.
Yeah,
is that the first?
it was COVID.
But it
was
is that the
first
first
season
time they
back
do
after
with
COVID? Jeff kind of took over, and they
is it the shorter season
rewrote
though?
the
Is that
rules.
when it's
They shortened the
when the shorter
seasons.
season?
41 was the
less
first. Yeah,
players.
it was the first short.
Well, and a lot of the 50s cast that we've seen is from the 40s, right? It looks like maybe
quite a few of them.
I don't know if it's half, but maybe a third. Like it looked like there was a lot of them.
I would guess about not even the half. Like I would say
it's not half. I say closer to a third. It looked like from what I saw, because they would show the season number, or the season name.
Well, I can count it of the 18 that have, so there only 16 have been revealed, right? So far, no, there's 24 castaways.
All of them have been revealed except for the new season.
There's 24 there's 24 castaways in this season, so it's 6 more people than what we've been used to in the new era.
Oh,
right. So that's going to change things around.
But I think it's at least 8 to 10 though, which is over.
I can count them right now. So the new era people are Charlie from 46. It's 1. You got D from 45. Emily from 45. Genevieve from 47. Joe from 48. Jonathan from 42. Camilla from 48. Kyle from 48. And Q from 46, and Tiffany from 46. So 10 of the
plus
24.
12, so half.
So half. It's supposed to be half and half.
I wonder if the gimmick starting out is going to be some sort of old versus new. I wonder if they're going to throw a gimmick on top of everything.
Apparently they're doing 3 tribes. Like it would have been interesting to do like 2 tribes, like new school, old school, or something like that. But apparently they're doing 3 tribes of 8 people instead of the 3 tribes of 6 people that we've been used to in the new era. So that but same number of days. So they got to vote people out faster. Anyway.
Well, there's going to be a lot of double eliminations, and
they're going to do a double elimination episode, and they're going to probably do the merge. Somebody gets eliminated on the merge episode, like they've done before.
Do you think they'll ever bring? I know, we've got to obviously finish the rest of this episode.
Yeah.
But the last thing, kind of on the 50 note, is that I know they won't bring it back for 50 with this many cast members. But do you ever think they'll bring back the one that comes to mind right away is like Redemption Island? Right, where
that was part of the vote stuff, I think.
Yeah, this is called "In the Hands of the Fans," so they're bringing in different twists and old callback things like that. So.
Yeah, because I did like those I didn't see Edge of Extinction or whatever. I know it came back a few times after that. Redemption Island, I remember was I thought that was one of the more original ones that I saw. One of the kind of the few that back in the day, which was phenomenal. I believe that was the one where Ozzy just kept winning. And he came back. I believe that's what it was. I can't 100% remember. But and then he gets voted out by coach. I remember too. I was so mad. But the point is that there's going to be a lot of scrambling from the newbies. I feel like, and then the old are just kind of laid back and just kind of let things happen.
My hope is that the newbies don't get like starstruck and get like sort of like flossed by the old school guys just because they're more famous or more noteworthy.
Oh, I feel like they're going to lead automatically just by default. It's not.
That will probably be the dynamic. And like if it's 3 tribes of 8, you can probably assume that half of them will be newbie, like new era people, and half of them will be old. Like
one of Ozzy's games, he got voted out in like the 3rd episode. So who knows?
Right. Well, I think that the big huge targets like Ozzy, I think is a massive target going into the season, and I don't know anyone else comes that close. Like there's past winners like Kyle, for instance, but I don't know. It
depends also too on your personality as an older player now, right? Like how do you're personified, right? So or like just how your mentality, right? Because if you've kind of the better way to go about it is you come in with chill, relax, like try to be under the radar, try not to be like dominate essentially, but again, like we'll have to wait and see, right? Like I was mentioning to you, for anyone who doesn't know, as far as I know, they did announced that, or they do have it posted, that the first episode of season 50 is going to be Wednesday, February 25th. So that's going to be the first episode for season 50 for that. So, we'll see how, again, that's only 3 months away essentially, right? So really soon. But yeah, no, again, like we could probably talk.
Yeah, well, we can't make this all a Survivor 50. It's probably the longest segment we've had on the next season, but yeah, like interesting discussion. But let's get back to 49 because that still has to play out. And so we talked about the reward. First time they went to the sanctuary this season too was the other thing. And
Jeff heard me. I don't know what it was. I talked about it last episode, and it was like,
it
does still exist. I thought it was like a hurricane blew it down or something like that, because I'm like, is it under renovations? Like, what's going on? Like, where is the sanctuary?
Yeah, and the best thing about the sanctuary is you get like a better night's sleep than you would like out in the jungle, or living on the beach or whatever you're doing.
I also found it funny that like they showed them go back to camp and they're all depressed and the music's all sad. And I said to my wife, watch, they're gonna show them at sanctuary and the music's gonna do a 180 and be like jaunty and like almost like hijinksy. And as soon as it went over there, it was like a weird pirate shanty. Because this season is a pirates, I guess.
But there's been nothing really tied in with that theme much. Like other
there never is. There was one season that was just bats. Remember the season that was just bats?
Bats. This is a bat season.
It had so much potential. Like you could have done, so many things with that, right? Like again, like this is where like you spend a little bit more time and money, and you actually add those elements into the challenges, right? Like but like again, you could see like they just repaint. Like the one thing I wanted to say about the reward challenge, I thought was they did like the whole cup thing. Like when you're a kid, you have that ball in the cup thing. That was a direct reference to that. So I the point I wanted to bring it up was that I like the concept of basically enlarging or like making a childhood kind of game like massive. I thought that was kind of cool. And that type of concept.
This was a new thing. I think Jeff called it out as something they hadn't done before with like spin it into the hoop.
The teeter bridge, that was nothing, like in my opinion. Like that was just fun to like like that was.
Well, that's in the reward. That's in the immunity challenge, I guess.
Which the immunity challenge? Oh, okay, so this is where we're overlapping now. We're going.
Yeah. Well, there's not much in between like the reward challenge and the immunity challenge that I think we have to cover. Like they went to the sanctuary, they got the burgers. I think the other thing, like just going back to that schoolyard pick thing, like I think part of it is strategy. Like you're going to get split up into two groups. Who do you not want to be alone? I think could also be a factor in who you want on your team. Whether you want like the burger and the night's sleep, but maybe you're more. I don't want these two people to be alone with this person to have the whole night to conspire or whatever. But we never
when we see rewards, like this used to happen a lot in previous seasons where like there's somebody looking for something like an advantage or what have you, and maybe they're just not showing it, but like there used to be very apparent in prior seasons where someone would make a conscious effort to try to look, and they would talk about it in their confessional.
I saw Christina when she was sitting out one time on the bench. They showed her looking around the bench.
Oh yeah, but that's during a challenge. I've never even heard of them having. Have you guys ever?
They used to. They used
to. Oh, okay. So that's the. I mean I wouldn't just have that idea unless that actually was done
but
before.
Sanctuary specifically used to be where you'd at least get an advantage or a clue or something, and they'd zoom in on it, be like stuck in the peach bowl or something, right?
Yeah.
But maybe because there's already two idols in play, they couldn't.
I don't know. Well, here's the thing: there's two idols. There's an extra vote, and there's a knowledge as power, right? So I mean, at this point now, they've used an idol and they've used a knowledge as power, or not knowledge as power. So they used the extra vote. So now it's one idol, one knowledge as power. At this point, you're probably thinking it's one of the other of an extra vote or an idol. In terms of in the jungle, they're not going to have all four with only 7 left. But at least this point, you would think that in the next episode, there would be some sort of, let's try to go find it, right? But again, though, like you're right. I think Jason, like there's no reason to kind of have all these extra advantages especially doubling up on advantages when, as far like what other advantage not doubling up on knowledge is power and the extra vote, what could they have had?
I can't think of any other game pieces even.
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah, so
Yeah, like that's most of the tools in the tool shed, if you will. But anyway, yeah. So there's the sanctuary section. There's Juwan getting the fish, which we touched on. I think that's most of the in between until we get to immunity. And which I do want to cover. I want to cover just the immunity and what you thought of that challenge tonight. We talked about the rice and the temptation of the rice and who wants to sit out of the challenge. So I don't think we need to get into that. I think some of the new dynamics, like there was the teeter bridge.
This whole immunity challenge was just to slow you down from getting to the puzzle, is what I noticed. You're just in the thing that teeters, and then you got to like put the things on the thing to get the thing to go across the little bridge with the stuff stacked up on it.
And it was just up and down. Like there was no zigzagging. There was no. It was very basic. Like you said, even the puzzle, in my opinion,
it was a standard classic
puzzle,
oval puzzle like where you just have to make the logo.
So the other thing too that I was wondering, because I thought about this, is that like when I do 3D puzzles, right? I only have so much space. I haven't done one in a while, but I lay out the pieces, right? And I kind of can see like what fits where. Are they not allowed to do they have to keep it on that table? Because you would think so.
I don't think so.
If you lay it out, then you could easily see, oh, that's an edge, that's a corner. This says the V, this says the 9. And I'm looking at the logo in our cast here.
My explanation is that their brains are so fried that they don't. It's not.
They're not
working.
thinking like they normally would.
But Sophie nailed it.
Sophie
destroyed it. She just put it together.
It was impressive.
You go quick, like boom, boom, doesn't work. Okay, boom, 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 doesn't work, and that's how you should be going.
Steven's a rocket scientist, and he got there first, and he couldn't beat her. And
again, it's a very basic puzzle. I understand there's the lack of food, the lack of nutrients, the lack of.
Steven just had a burger and a night at the sanctuary, and so did Sophie.
Yeah,
but so they were on equal footing in that sense. But
I don't know. It just seemed like it was very lackluster.
Two things with the challenge too. Okay, so the first thing was that teeter-totter that they had to go through the tunnel, and that was kind of fun to watch. Although I don't know if they're going to continue with it because it seemed like when they went over, they were all screaming. That part was fun, but then they started.
Savannah looked like she ate shit when she came down.
Oh yeah, and then some of them were hitting their heads on the top, and I don't know if this is going to last, but it was entertaining, so I hope it does. But and the other
should
part
do one where it's just 6 of those, just horrible
six of those in a row. But you would theoretically get better at them, hopefully, but maybe not. Yeah, it was all bad. It's in particular for the women for whatever reason. I thought they were all having the roughest time with it. Anyway, and then the other part was there's this other part where you have to take puzzle pieces, put them on this little stick. And then carry them. And there was a strategy. Do I carry one at a time or 2 or 3 or 4? And Steven, I think he took 3 with his first run, and then he did 4 on his second run. I think there were 7 total. So he was able to do it very fast. In contrast, Christina, who was doing better through a lot of that early part of the challenge, when she does the one piece, right? That works fine for her. Then she decides, oh no, I'm falling behind. I need to try to do 2 or 3. And then, but she falls and falls and falls over and over again. And if she just kept with her strategy of 1 at a time, it would probably have been faster than her trying to catch up. Now she probably still loses, but I would at least, I guess there's different, it just depends on a few factors. You have to balance coordination, how much weight you can balance here. But that I like things like that where there's strategic choices for the contestants in terms of how they're going to approach something versus just who can do the puzzle fastest. That's not as fun for obviously some people are good at puzzles and some people are not good at puzzles, but I guess just strategic choices would be a little bit funner. It would not be fun just to watch who's the fastest runner go.
Yeah, a straight line run.
Right. Why isn't that a challenge? If only a puzzle can be. So anyway, it was not my favorite immunity challenge, but I can't say it was my least favorite either. It was kind of.
I just like this season they're trying new things. I was getting the last couple seasons. It was the same, 12 games. as the previous season. And now that they're just trying little variations like this, the tube was dumb, but it at least, like you said, was Dave, it was entertaining and kind of interesting.
Mhm.
It's like you start with a concussion.
Yeah, like I'm here for it. Like, let's try it.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm okay with like challenge apparatus. Like, it is Survivor. It's not.
Yeah,
you
the
know,
cup and ball thing, like from the previous game, like Foster was saying, you can relate to that pretty easily. It's pretty interesting game from our childhood, and it's like, you got to get the thing in the thing, and it's good. But I've seen them throw hoops onto high things or throw basketballs up into high places so many times that I just try something new.
Let's do something different. Anyway, so as I mentioned, Sophie very impressive in this puzzle in particular, and she pulls out the win, gets her second immunity win. Not that I think she needed it specifically, although I think like she could have been an option to potentially in this tribal. So can't fall.
Well, I think Sage and Savannah and Soph all have reasons to get Sophie out. So they could, if they've just talked to each other, they'd be like, well, she's the one tonight.
But why not her? And now that she's won 2 immunities, like just like Savannah, she's got to be at the top of everyone's tongue. But then it's advantageous for Savannah and Sage to maybe not target each other for at least one more vote potentially, because you don't want to have one of them out and then the other one's obvious. So we'll see if their alliance holds or not. And then the whole lead up to tonight's tribal, I thought was very entertaining.
One of the better ones that I've seen.
One of the better ones.
Like, the scramble was awesome because they kept changing it, but it wasn't like I was saying early in the episode. It wasn't that thing where they kept changing it and editing it so it seems like there's all these other options. Going into tribal, it felt like all of the options they discussed were viable. People playing idols, people being on the chopping block, people getting blindsided. There was, I think, 4 options that could have been played between the game pieces and the people being voted out. And I was excited to see what the final combination would be. I did not see Rizzo making a grand gesture speech and then it being a fake idol. One of the best things I've ever seen in Survivor.
That was interesting.
When we know he has an idol, like, mind blowing.
And how I'm going into this going, they're talking about Savannah, they're talking about Steven, my 2 draft picks, Team Dave. Let's not forget about Team Dave here, just to remind ourselves. Yeah, like this has been very strong for me so far this season. And I felt like, oh no,
Dave, as someone who's been to the end with both of my picks for different seasons, different shows, don't get too excited, because if you get too excited, Dave, then the downfall of your emotions is so much worse.
No, thank you. I'll try not to get too excited, but I'm feeling good about them. Steven, I don't know which one I feel better about. I guess Steven, if he gets to the end versus Savannah. So
I felt I felt good last season when I had both Joe and Avon.
Yeah, you had 2 of the final 4, didn't you?
You had
2 of the final 3. You had 2 of the final 3.
Yeah, and even Big Brother, I had Vince, who made final, right? He was in the final jury, or final 2, I mean.
Vince is the worst.
I didn't watch that, but I was just, I'd follow along every week, right? I'm like, oh, my guy has survived, and whatever, right? But so all I'm saying, Dave, as someone who's wept and been so frustrated that I got burned with 2 of the final 3, and or final 4, or whatever. Don't be me, Dave.
All right. I'll try not to get too excited about anything in that respect. But ultimately,
but if you win, I'll be mad.
Okay. Well, then I'm endeavoring to make you mad.
But who else is in it though right now? That's a good time to read.
In terms of who's still after Jawan, because Jawan was on Team Sean. So Sean still has Sage, I guess, in the game. Sage was a little bit of a later pick. Who else do we got? We showed Steven Savannah. Rizzo is still in the game. Team Jane still has Rizzo in the game, so she's going for him. We got Blue Sophie is Jeff's. So we'll see how that goes. Where's Jeff here? I must have a team Jeff. Do I not? Or maybe I didn't include Jeff.
Have you talked to Jeff at all about this season? Or
I
is he just,
try.
like, not really watching.
Ah,
Yeah.
I'm working on Wednesdays. I don't know what to do.
Who is Jeff? What
Oh,
is
there's
a Jeff?
Yeah, exactly. Jeff's team. Anyway,
That guy doesn't look familiar.
I don't know. He's a stranger to us all. And then who's else? Who else is in? Oh, and Yellow Sophie's still in the game. That's his wife Amanda. I don't know. She might be watching the season. And lastly, Christina is team Daryl because Daryl took Jake at number 1, therefore got Christina at number 18. But it's always interesting in these drafts because the people who go in the first half of the draft almost always are the first people voted out, and it's always like these people that we draft last are almost always the people that go deep, especially the person that maybe go last in the draft, like Christina. Anyway, so my main question about this tribal tonight, guys, is like I think it was smart that they're like, well, instead of like trying to get Steven out here, and there's a chance that Christina's going to play the idol on Steven, which is ultimately what happened here. They're like, why don't we like instead direct it towards Sage and Jawan? In particular, Sophie, is the one who kind of really pitches this and gets Savannah and Rizzo and other Soph on board. And then it comes down to like, okay, but if we're going to put the votes on one of the two of them, why Jawan over Sage, at this stage is kind of my main question. Is this less expected? Like, do you have guys any theories there?
Well, it was kind of like Sophie recognized that Sage and Jawan were playing the middle. They were kind of closer to the bottom. They're flip-floppers-ish. And I think that's why they were like, let's go after one of them. But Sage turned chicken shit into chicken salad a little bit. But Jawan is just like, he's so clueless.
He's so clueless, but did they feel like, I guess, did Jawan have in their minds, does Jawan have a better chance to win at the end over Sage? Therefore, let's get Jawan out first.
Maybe. I think Jawan has played a better game than Sage, but Sage has been playing a better like background manipulation game.
Yeah. It was like
where Jawan is playing a charisma, like friends with.
And we got like Jawan was more well liked than I thought. Here,
which is dangerous.
He's in a boy band now with Stephen and Rizzo, 3 boys on a bench.
3 boys on a bench.
All that stuff that was going on. Yeah, but like on the other hand, I was like, I feel like every week, like last week we lost Alex. I'm like, good. Like he's boring. I don't want him to win. And Jawan, I was also like, he's kind of, like I like Jawan kind of, but I also don't feel like he'd be the most entertaining, most exciting winner to get either of this season. So I was like kind of glad to lose him. I was like, okay, I think Christina's the other one I would like to see go, just because she just feels like she's such a long shot to win. So why not go out sooner? That probably means they won't vote her out because why bother? But
I think Christina's a lock for final 3, just because whoever gets there is going to take her, and she'll have to make fire probably, maybe.
And we'll see how that goes. But if she can get there with fire, she still doesn't win. But maybe she gets second if she's lucky.
She gets taken, and then 2 people have to make fire to be third. So
I don't see anyone putting her in the fire making.
Right,
they'll just take her. But
if it came down to like Savannah or Rizzo taking Christina, and then like Steven and Sophie making fire, I think that'd be an interesting final.
Steven and Sophie.
So Steven, they have to make fire, and then Steven probably wins that, or either or. Both of those players sit next to Rizzo or Savannah in the middle, with Christina here. Rizzo or Savannah win.
And you're assuming Soph's gone by that point, and a few others.
I'm worried about Soph because while she is a good player, I think that she's she's below Rizzo and Savannah in that trio.
Oh, she is for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they turn on her.
And I want to talk about that in the preview for the next episode. We see Soph talking to Sage about like, I'm going to now turn on Rizzo and Savannah potentially. And I thought that, like, really, like,
I haven't seen that yet, so this will be.
So, but first, I think we like, if there's anything else in the tribal, like we talked about it on and off throughout the podcast, so I don't want to deep dive too hard into the tribal specifically, like, all the lead up, all these leading questions, everyone not trying to show their cards. I find this part of tribal too long every time, like, we're just like basically just trying to see if you can get somebody to say something that's going to tip off somebody else, and then maybe they're gonna play an idol or they're going to do something else, like, and I'm always like, cut this down, show me the schoolyard pick. I want to understand those dynamics, and maybe give me a confessional about why they picked who they picked and what their thought process was there. Because I know all the rest of it. The rest of this is just like everything at tribal, just questions are mostly just smoke screen. It's mainly just misdirects typically, so anyway, but then we talked about the whole, like, after the votes are being read, and Savannah said, Jawan, was it you? Did you do this to me, Jawan? No, yes, I did. Now that I think we're actually going to vote you out, Savannah, but then Savannah gets Jawan out using her extra vote. Rizzo, the boy who cried wolf, he claims to be with the idol. Maybe he'll play the the wolf will actually be there. But the whole point of that story, the boy who cried wolf, is that don't tell the same lie twice. That's the the thing here. And he's like, I'm not going to play the idol. I'm not going to play the idol, and he doesn't play the idol. When can he play it up till, like, final 5? And we're going into 7, right? So he's only got 2 more.
Yep.
2 or 3 more
It takes
tribals.
5 people to do the final push.
Right. So, but anyway, it results in Jawan going here. He seemed fine with it. Let's have a look at Jawan's exit interview.
They got your boy. Oh, I thought I was like the silent killer, taking him out left and right. And then look at me. I'm the victim. I guess I was on somebody else's hit list. But hey, I made it pretty far. I was in the first boot. And this has been my dream since 13 years old. And I'm just living proof that anything is possible, man.
Okay, now...
Oh, Christina truly had no idea what was going on.
Had no idea. She votes for Rizzo. Now, I guess this idea, if there's an idol played on Savannah, then it would be Rizzo to go. That's what she's thinking. I'm so frustrated with her gameplay. Like, not her challenges or her social game as much as, like, her inability to want to take risks. Her fear of going home on, like, basically with kind of what happens to Jawan here. Not even that. Like, somebody gets an immunity and then you're like the next highest vote. That's like Christina's worst nightmare. I'm like, that's not your worst nightmare. Like, that's just how things can go sometimes.
That happens so rarely, though, like,
because how many votes did Jawan get here in the end, right? He got 5.
4 to 3.
So even if Christina's vote goes on to Savannah, it's still 5-4. It doesn't really matter.
Or 5-4, yeah.
Yeah, so ultimately it doesn't change it, but I don't know. Because the extra vote. But, like, they didn't know about the extra vote. So they could have, like, forced a tie here and a revote. And who knows, right? So, like, this is... I wish that not just Christina, but other players in Survivor don't feel this need to split votes all the time. Anyway, is anyone gonna miss Jawan other than me? Like,
no, I feel like he squeaked by a lot. I feel like his name was said a lot of times.
He was on the bottom of his original tribe for the beginning part of this game, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, and we're gonna look ahead to the next episode. What is the next episode called, everyone? It is called Cherry on Top, like a sundae. So let's have a look. The first time Jason's seeing this, I believe. So let's see.
Savannah and Rizzo, I'm gonna go for them tea.
Next time on Survivor.
This is so brutal.
Sometimes you do have to get revenge.
You had the biggest smile on your face.
I'm not going to apologize for that.
When you piss me off, you go home.
Oh, Sage. Okay.
Sage's going home.
It very might well be. So we see, Sage is very upset with Yellow Sophie after that vote. You had a smile on your face when you were doing the misdirect and everything else. And this is part of the reason I'm not on Team Sage.
Okay.
Sophie's like, I don't have to apologize for it. I'm like, yeah, you don't have to apologize for it, Sophie. It's all good. It's Survivor, But Sage is too emotional, I think, is mostly how I feel. She's very personal. Like it was Shannon, and now it's Savannah, and it's like I have to take down the Goliath or whatever, the villain, the mean girl, whatever she wants, however she wants, because she's the good guy in her mind. And that's the part that gets irritating with me with Sage. We see that Sage is talking to Soph as well, Blue Soph. She says, I want to get them out too. I want to get out Rizzo and Savannah. And there's like a twinkle in Sage's eye. And maybe you're wrong, Jason. Maybe it's not Sage who goes next. Maybe Sage is able to do some kind of a move here where she finally does slay the dragon Savannah in the next episode, or her closest ally Rizzo. Potentially, it's there's a chance. Like I feel like the one thing Sage has been incredibly entertaining. You know, whether I'm cheering for her all the time is a different matter, but there was a lot of dynamics there going on, and I'm interested to see if the dynamic can flip, and now that we go to 7 here.
As I've heard people say in the past, the game is afoot and things are heating up, and I'm very excited for next week.
Like with Sage losing her strongest ally in Jawan, is she less of a threat, right? Like, you know, right now, less of a priority to get out next.
I think Steven's the priority if it's those other three.
Yeah.
And I agree with this idea that they consider Steven a threat because, yes, he's very likable. He makes relationships well. He's well spoken. He's obviously very smart. Like MC is almost surely a lock for him on the jury. You know, so, you know, he is a scary guy to sit against in the end. But maybe Sage is also a consideration, or will Sage just be considered too emotional, too much of an unstable element in a close vote, you know, going into 6 after that. It's all about how they're going to look at that. So anyway, the cherry on top, we'll see who I'm always curious to see who says the episode title name tonight. Like the huge dose of bamboozle was said by Steven. That didn't come to pass. He did not get a huge dose. He got the huge dose of bamboozle to him.
He was bamboozled.
It was
or Rizzo said bean boozled. I'm sure of it. You know the game Bean Boozled? It's like
I know about bean boozling.
You know about Bean Boozled? Yeah.
Oh, who doesn't? You know? So anyway,
the subtitle said bamboozled. So anyway.
All right. Well, I think we can wrap this podcast tonight. You know, we always want you to make sure you check out our other podcasts here on Super Mater Brothers and within the United Federation of Podcasts. Trivial Debates, we're on Sunday. We are doing a Babylon 5 themed episode. I'm hosting, and we got some greats like Justin Velociraptor coming in to compete, Jeff Aiken, and I don't remember who the third contestant is, but we have a whole panel coming. So check that out Sunday on Trivial Debates. Also on Hey, Did You See This One? Every Thursday, you can check out what movie they're talking about. What's on? Are you gone tomorrow?
We're on tomorrow night. We're talking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit to finish out November. That's at 8 p.m. Pretty much wherever you get your podcast, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Then next month we start. So I won't be on this show next week because we have to do a special Wednesday show. We're switching over to Spooky Christmas. Next month. We were going to do Sam Jackson, but it didn't really work out. So Spooky Christmas, I think we're starting off with Silent Night, Deadly Night.
You are? Oh, yeah. 2. No,
2.
Go to 1. Gotta go to 1.
Well, I'm a completionist, and I was like, shouldn't we? And Steven was like, no, we have to do the second one. So I will be watching both, and I will be referencing the first one during that episode. But the episode is specifically about the sequel because apparently it's just so wild that it has to be that's the one that they want to cover.
I don't know if I've seen part 1. It is a trip, you know, so
I'm excited to make my whole week about that next week. We're also doing Black Christmas, which is it's a 70s horror Christmas movie. We're doing Rare Export, which I don't know too much about, from 2010. And the final movie is it's not really a Christmas movie. It's more of a gift to one of our guests. In fact, the guest who's on tomorrow night, B Dolly, Overlayer B on Instagram, she's been bugging me to do Tammy and the T-Rex for over a year. We work together at Super Kicked Wrestling, and every time I see her, she's like, next time I'm on, please. And I was like, for Christmas this year, I'm gonna, on Christmas Day, we're gonna pre-record. Don't tell anybody. But on Christmas Day, you're gonna get your wish. So look out for that.
Excellent. And then I'll try to check out your podcast on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because I love that movie too. You've been hitting on some of my classics here. You did Dick Tracy not too long ago, and
They hold up, man. I've been giving some of the high. I think I've given all of the movies this month, including tomorrow night, 4.5 out of 5 or better. I'm giving Who Framed Roger Rabbit a 5 out of 5.
It's
and they've all been.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit is like it's like a masterpiece. It's like it's one of the best movies.
If you watch it on Disney Plus, it's in HD, like super HD, and it looks incredible. The transfer that they have is just chef's kiss. It looks like a new movie. I was surprised to find out it was 1988. I thought it was like 92, just based on the way it looked. Obviously, once I saw 1988, I was like, oh yeah, it is. It's an 80s movie. But I think I like film noir after this month. I think it's like one of my favorite genres. Hard Boiled last week was incredible. Just great stuff.
I feel like Roger Rabbit was like maybe the first thing I ever saw in a theater, like in the big screen. And I remember like there's that whole segment at the beginning with the fake commercial and anyway. So good luck with that podcast tomorrow night, covering all that. And check out our Star Trek podcast as well every Monday, and usually on Tuesday we're covering either For All Mankind or Star Trek The Next Generation. And we'll leave you guys for tonight. Thanks to Foster, thanks to Jaemeel and Becky for being with us. Not to Jeff Mader. He's we don't know that guy. But
who is Jeff? What is it, Jeff?
Who exactly?
My name is Jeff. My
name is Jeff. Foster, we got same brain, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave you with something from Jeff Probst instead. How about this one? I don't know what this
is.
Be.
Jeff.
Yeah, we'll play this out.
I know
good
that.
Night, good night, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Well, it's one of the great things about Survivor. It is a roller coaster of highs and lows, but there is one thing that is always there: opportunity, including right now.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mader Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.